Question number 5. Name the salt produced by the neutralization of hydrochloric acid and potassium hydroxide. Now in this case, the acid being used is hydrochloric acid, so the name of the salt will end in chloride. And the metal is potassium, so it will be potassium chloride. Next part says write an ionic equation for the neutralization of hydrochloric acid with potassium hydroxide. So ionic equation for the neutralization reaction is always the same, and that is H plus from acid, OH minus from the alkali will react together to produce H2. This will be aqueous, this will be aqueous, and this will be liquid. Next part says soluble salts can be produced by reacting dilute hydrochloric acid with an insoluble solid. Now they've given us three options: copper, copper carbonate, copper oxide are insoluble solids. Which of these insoluble solids can be used to make a copper salt by reacting the solid with hydrochloric acid? Before I look at the available options, you have to remind yourself that copper is least reactive. Therefore, doesn't react with acid. How do I know this? This is based on the reactivity series because copper is found right below in the reactivity series. So we are now left with only two options, and that is copper carbonate and copper oxide. So which of these four options includes only those two solids? So copper carbonate and copper oxide. So the answer is this. The question continues and it says a student makes crystals of magnesium sulfate. This is the method used. Add sulfuric acid to a beaker. Warm the sulfuric acid. This is something important. Add spatula of magnesium oxide to the beaker, stir the mixture, repeat step 3 and 4 until there is magnesium oxide remaining in the beaker. Again, this is important because now MgO will be in excess. Then it says filter the mixture, evaporate the filtrate gently until crystals start to form, leave the solution to finish crystallization. The question says, give one reason for step 2. So why did they warm the sulfuric acid? Warming means you are increasing the temperature. So when you increase the temperature, that will increase the rate of reaction. So we can say to increase rate of reaction. Then it says, give one reason for step 5. In step 5, what they did was repeat step 3 and 4, which is adding magnesium oxide until there is a magnesium oxide remaining in the beaker. So we can say to ensure all acid has reacted. Now in this case, why are we ensuring that the acid has reacted? Because it is very difficult to separate acid from the products. But this excess solid, which is MgO, can easily be removed from the products. Next part says give one reason for step 6. Filter the mixture. So this is being done to remove excess magnesium oxide, which is solid. Next part of the question says, how should the filtrate be evaporated gently in step 7? Gently. So we can't use Bunsen burner, because if you use Bunsen burner, then it will supply a lot of heat. To evaporate it gently, we can use water bath or use electric heater. Last part of this question says, iron chloride is produced by heating iron in chlorine gas. The equation for the reaction is given. So this equation tells me that 2 moles of iron will react with 3 moles of chlorine gas to produce 2 moles of iron chloride. That says calculate the volume of chlorine needed to react with 14 grams of iron. And it says you should calculate the number of moles of iron used. Okay, that's 1. Then the number of moles of chlorine that reacted with 14 grams of iron. And then the last bit is the volume of chlorine needed. So each one will carry 1 mark. So I can say this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So for number 1, I can work out moles equals mass over mR. The mass given to us is 14. The value of mR in case of iron is 56. So if I divide 14 by 56, I will end up with an answer 0.25. Let's move on to section 2. It says number of moles of chlorine that reacted with 14 grams of iron. So I can then copy from the equation Fe ratio Cl2. So the moles of iron as per the equation is 2 ratio 3. If I want to simplify this, I can divide both of them by 2. It will change to 1 ratio 1.5. Now in question, you only have 0.25. I'm going to write down 0.25 here. They should have X moles. Now, what I did here is to go from 1 to 0.25, I divided it by 4. I'll divide this by 4 as well, and this will give me the answer for X as 0.375 moles of Cl2. Now, the last part says volume of chlorine needed. To work out the volume of chlorine needed, I'm going to use expression moles equals volume divided by 24. Okay, that is dm cube. Now, in this case, the moles of chlorine are 0.375. I do not know the value of volume. I'll keep it as V, but this is 24. Put 1 in the denominator, cross multiply, and we'll get your answer as 0.375 times 24, which is equal to 9.0 dm